back to Country Entertainment USA. My name is Steve Riley, and thank you for tuning in again. Our guest for this segment is Bobby Lewis. If you remember him at all, very famous man around town, but I don't think he thinks he is, but he is actually.
Steve, it's a pleasure to be here with you and to be here on behalf of Country Entertainment USA. You're doing a great service to a lot of artists, and I love the deal to where you can go on the internet and see what we're doing here now.
Right.
Or you can pick up the magazine and read about it in there.
That's right. And it's a free magazine. Any place that it's laying out, you just take it with you and don't worry about paying somebody for it because it's free.
Isn't that a great deal?
And it is a great deal. And I know that, so with Bobby, how is the internet thing working for you?
You know, it's a new day to what it used to be when I first started out. I've been making music now for over 50 years. We had a lot of hit records back when, in the day of the record labels. Was on United Artists, I believe, for about 11 years, and had a lot of hits there. But now it's your audience is so vast because you can reach people all around the world by just pressing a button on your computer. It is amazing.
Yes, you're right. It is amazing because, like you said, your song that in the day was on a 45
Right.
or on a cassette, 8-track. Remember the 8-track?
Oh,
8 tracks.
I remember 4-track.
There you go.
Yes.
But now, with the click of a mouse, that young man that's in that little hut in South Africa,
Yeah.
he can hear your song.
Yes. And it's amazing to me how the progress that has happened since I've been making music. And first session I ever cut was a demo in Globe Studio. We had 4 tracks. And when they went to 8 tracks, we didn't know what to do with those extra 4 tracks. And then I believe the last session I did for United Artists, we had 64 tracks.
Dang.
And of course we didn't use them all.
Well, no, but they were available.
But yeah. It was just it's amazing how that's come along.
Now you got 10,000 tracks if you want to use them.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it's unlimited with the technology that we have. So with what you're doing these days, what are you doing these days?
Well,
we hear about you once in a while in the industry, but
you know, it's kind of funny because a gentleman by Tracy Pitcock, by the name of Tracy Pitcock from Texas, came into town and he had a show over at the Troubadour Theater, and he invited me to be on it. So I was a guest on there on his show, and when I got done with my little act, well, I came off stage and he said, "Bobby Lewis, why aren't you making records? Why aren't you still out there? You still got everything staged. I can't see that you've rusted any at all." And I said, "Well, I don't know. I'm not on a record label. I don't even know who to talk to about a record label." And he said, "Well, you're on one now. Start picking your songs." So I picked out some songs, and our new CD, I aim to get it here and kind of show it to you. But
well, we'll make it available on the
yeah,
website.
yes,
We'll
yes.
set that up on the
It's
website
called
for you.
Then and Now, and I got to incorporate some of my old hits that I had from back years ago, and translate on over to the new ones that I've done. And I wrote a little song called "Everything's Good in Texas."
Our technician showed up.
Yeah, everything's good in Texas. Thank you. And I wrote that one and about 4 or 5 others
Now,
on the CD.
on your CD,
Yes.
or then and now, so you got some of your old standards on there.
Yes,
which
from
is
heaven,
then.
from How Long Has It Been, From Heaven to Heartache, Love Me and Make It All Better, Hello Mary
Those are all your
Lou,
good songs.
Hello Mary Lou.
Those are your good songs.
Yeah.
And
so-
then you got your new ones on there.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I'm like a little child again. I was
Now,
talking-
have you got your website up and going?
Yes, I have.
It's Bobby Lewis.
BobbyLewisLute.com.
Lute, which is an instrument you play.
Right.
Which you didn't bring.
I should have
Which is
brought
okay.
it.
Which is okay.
Well, I should have brought that so they'd know who I am.
Yeah, we're going to have you on again. we're going to have you on again. And
Yeah.
But go on to BobbyLewisLute.com and check out what he's doing.
A dear friend of mine, Billy Joe Burnett, called me the other day. I'm lucky enough to have on the chart the number 4 song this week.
Yes.
And so it excited me so much, Billy Joe called me up and said, Bobby, where have you been? I haven't seen you in 30 years. And I remember you walking up and down Music Row trying to get a break, trying to get a song cut, trying to get a record deal. And he said, you befriended me back then. It was really friendly to me. And he said, you know, it is so good to be able to talk with you again. So, Billy Joe, thank you very much for making this visit with everybody possible. It wouldn't have happened.
Well, and that's good because, you know, with the music industry, we put a lot of recognition and a lot of value to the chart system, and being the chart that we have in our magazine is the Indie World Chart, and we try to make sure that every song that appears on that is dictated through spins and dictated from the DJs. And not somebody sitting in an office writing it out because they feel that they want to do you a favor. And
this is why I'm so excited about having
and that's so important with charting, you know, because anybody can write up a chart. You know?
But Billy put me in touch with Roy, and you know, it's so good. One other person I would like to mention.
Sure.
I like to mention
it's your segment. Go ahead.
Every time that I'm on stage. A fellow that really I couldn't have been here without the late great Ernest Tubb.
Oh, yeah.
He meant everything to me and took me on my first tour when I literally did not have enough of money to go, and put me up and took care of me, and
See, even back then, artists had to pay their way sometimes.
Absolutely, but I'll always be grateful to the great Ernest Tubb.
Well, and I know that you had when we were taking our break, you were telling us a short story about how he got you on the Midnight Jamboree, and just he kind of brought him along. And I think what he did, if I understood you correctly, he took Bobby some places that Bobby really didn't know he wanted to go.
Exactly, he did.
You know, and
exactly.
he just says, "You're going to go do this," because
Yeah.
you know. People like Ernest and Charlie Lubin brought me to town. I think I mentioned
I love
that before.
Charlie.
Right.
Hundreds of shows.
Right. But see, he did basically the same thing. He saw something in me that I didn't see.
Yeah.
And that's what it was, because sometimes they see things that we don't see because they're the outside looking in.
Yeah.